Hello and welcome back to Simple Learning, your one solution for ICSE syllabus, mainly history, civics and geography. Now I'm starting some videos with 2022 syllabus in mind, which is the full syllabus as prescribed by the council till now. So this new series will be according to your new syllabus of 2022 for grade 10. So here children, if you see, the first chapter is the First War of Independence 1857. Consequences and causes will be tested. So whenever you do your chapters, the first thing that you have to focus on is the syllabus box. Now everything which is coming for the exam is mentioned in the syllabus box, but then still we need to go through the chapter and see which headings or subheadings are included or they are not included in the syllabus. So pay attention till the end of the video. Alright, so let's move on. Now, the very first thing is some children get confused with the First War of Independence and the Revolt of 1857. It is the same thing. So, if in a tricky manner you get a question on the Revolt of 1857, please understand that it is the same chapter being referred to. Alright, then we move on to the syllabus. Now, as per the syllabus, if you see the syllabus box closely, you have the causes: political, socio-religious, economic and military, and the consequences. So in part 1 of this video, I will be dealing only with the causes because there are a lot of causes to be discussed, and in the second part of the video, I will be discussing the consequences of the revolt. Now the syllabus box also says that there are events mentioned in order to maintain continuity and for a more comprehensive understanding. It means that you can read about the events that happened in the revolt, but they will not be asked in your examination. Now, the very first thing is whenever you read, you always have to read with the introduction. The introductory paragraph is always important to give you the information about the chapter. Now, all the opposition to the British rule culminated with the First War of Independence in 1857, in which millions of peasants, artisans, and soldiers had participated, and it shook the foundation of the British government in India. Now, what were the causes? Now, if you see, the causes are broadly mentioned under political, socio-religious, economic, and military. But under those main headings also you have so many subheadings to be taken care of. So let us see according to the syllabus. The very first thing is the political causes. Now when you do the chapter, you should always pay attention to these red colored headings. And this is what you will write in your exam or in your tests, whatever happens. And then you will explain a little bit with the keywords. So it's very important that you focus on these headings and mind map these headings later on. Political causes. Now, political causes, the very first political cause was the British policy of expansion, under which they tried to expand their rule in India through by four means or four ways, that is, by outright wars, by the system of subsidiary alliance, by adopting the doctrine of lapse, and on the pretext of alleged misrule also. By outright wars, you do not need to learn the whole paragraph, but you can have some major wars that they fought in mind and you can write about it. So they had the Battle of Buxar, they fought it and won. Then there was Anglo-Mysore Wars, Third Anglo-Maratha War, which really put down the Maratha power, and the Anglo-Sikh Wars. These are the outright wars that they fought with the Indian princes and kings, and they were able to access different parts of India. Next political cause was through subsidiary alliance. Now, subsidiary alliance, as we know, we should know what was the subsidiary alliance because this can be asked in a short answer also. Now, according to subsidiary alliance, the states that signed the subsidiary alliance with the British, they accepted British as the supreme power. They surrendered their foreign relations to the East India Company and agreed that they would not enter into any alliance with any other power. They accepted a British resident at their headquarters and agreed not to employ any European in their service. They agreed to maintain British troops at their own cost. and they virtually lost their independence. Now, through subsidiary alliance, you may be asked which state was annexed, and the main great example is Hyderabad, which is not given in the book, so please write it there. Hyderabad was annexed through subsidiary alliance by the British. The third political cause is by using doctrine of lapse. Many of you might be aware by now studying history. According to the doctrine of lapse, heirs without the consent of the company could inherit only the private property of the deceased ruler and not his territory, which would come under the company's rule. So here the kingdoms that were annexed with the doctrine of lapse were Satara, Jaipur, Sambalpur, Udaipur, Nagpur, and of course, Jhansi. So you do not need to, reproduce the whole paragraph in exam, children, but you definitely need to write the main examples and what that policy was about. Last but not the least, their policy of expansion was also done through alleged misrule. That is, they used to tell some rulers that you are not ruling properly and British company will take over the rule of your kingdom. So this happened in Awadh. In Awadh in 1856, Lord Dalhousie annexed Awadh to the company's dominions on the pretext of alleged misrule, and annexation of Awadh was arbitrary as the British seemed to have broken their promises. Now what happened was, you are usually asked in exam what happened after the annexation of Awadh. So this part is important. For short answers, I usually tell my students to write SA here for short answer. So what happened after the annexation of Awadh, you may be asked? The Nawab's army was dissolved. So dissolution of Nawab's army and administration threw thousands of nobles, officials and soldiers out of their jobs. The British confiscated the estates of the talukdars and zamindars, and the dispossessed talukdars also became opponents of the British rule. Then the company's sepoys, like 75,000, were from Awadh. They were the worst affected because they lost their jobs. These soldiers, they had helped the British to conquer the rest of India, but they did not like their homelands should come under foreign rule. So annexation of Awadh affected the soldiers' financial position. This is important. They had to pay higher taxes on the land and their families, which their families held in Awadh. So these are the consequences of the annexation of Awadh, usually asked in a short answer in exam. So focus on this part. Next, political cause was disrespect shown to Bahadur Shah, because in 1856 Lord Canning announced that after the death of Bahadur Shah, his successors would not be allowed to use the imperial titles and they would be known as mere princes. So this decision of the British hurt the sentiments of the Muslims. So Zeenat Mahal, who was the wife of Bahadur Shah, began plotting against the British. So all these, you remember, you're doing the causes which eventually led to the First War of Independence against the British. Next political causes, treatment given to Nana Sahib and Rani Lakshmi Bai. Both of them, again, you can be asked in a short answer. Nana Sahib was the adopted son of Peshwa Baji Rao. Now, he was refused the pension which was given to his father Baji Rao II, and he was forced to live at Kanpur away from his family seat at Pune. Then next you will see the treatment given to Rani Lakshmi Bai. She became the victim of doctrine of lapse because she had an adopted son and he was not accepted as the heir to her throne. The other Indian rulers who were not adversely affected, they also became suspicious because they thought they will meet the same fate. But basically, treatment given to Nana Sahib and Rani Lakshmi Bai, you have to remember. Then there is a definition. Now here the definition is important. You can write definition. People did not like absentee sovereignty of the British. Now what is absentee sovereignty? See, absentee sovereignty, you have to learn with the keywords the same definition, because this is a matter for short answers. You may be asked, what is absentee sovereignty? So absentee sovereignty means that India was being ruled by the British government from England at a distance of thousands of miles. Absentee sovereignty of the British rule was not liked by the Indian rulers and the Indian people. right? Because the revenues that they collected from Indians were spent in India only earlier by the invaders. But in case of Britain, the Indians felt that they were being ruled from England and all of India's wealth was being drained to England and not utilized for their welfare.